What if I told you there's a hidden code that can activate the law of attraction in seconds with no turning back? Yes, it exists, and it's hidden in something you do every day, without even noticing in the next few minutes. You'll begin to understand why your desires haven't shown up yet, and how to change that effortlessly. But be careful once this knowledge is activated. Everything changes and there's no going back. If any of this is starting to resonate with you, write in the comments, "I'm ready to understand what no one ever told me." And if you'd like to keep exploring truths like these, feel free to follow the channel. Stay until the end, because only there will you uncover what's truly blocking your vibrational field, and why some people seem to manifest with surgical precision, while others just keep wishing in vain. Maybe no one ever explained this to you. The universe, this invisible field that surrounds us, doesn't judge, it doesn't have favorites, it doesn't decide who deserves more. It simply responds, and it responds with precision to the vibration you sustain. The law of attraction isn't about worthiness, it's about resonance. You can crave abundance with all your heart, but if you vibrate doubt, lack, or resistance, that's exactly what the field returns. It's like a mirror, a quantum mirror that reflects exactly what's inside, and what's inside is often not what you think you're sending out. The law of attraction doesn't understand words, it understands emotion. It doesn't respond to shallow intentions, it responds to deep states. What you feel when you're alone, when no one's watching, when you're tired, worn out, questioning life, that's what you're vibrating, and that's what echoes back. And then it all starts to make sense. Your outer reality is only a reflection of what's happening inside, and the field, silent as ever, is simply following the logic of your energy. When doubt lives in the same place where desire tries to bloom, the universe reads that you're not ready, and it returns more of the same. More waiting, more absence, more distance between what you want and what you live. The law of attraction doesn't choose, it just reflects. That's the hardest part, but also the most freeing, because if everything you see is a reflection of your energy, then you're not stuck, you're creating. And if you're creating, you can recreate, you can transform, you can reprogram. But it always begins with becoming aware of who you are, being not what you are asking for. And maybe now you realize it was never about trying harder to manifest. It was always about aligning more deeply. The law of attraction doesn't respond to force. It responds to coherence. When your mind, emotion, and action vibrate the same truth, the field has no choice but to return it. And it returns it with stunning precision. So the question remains, what have you been emitting without even realizing it? Because the universe is listening. Even when you're not speaking, there's something subtle, almost invisible, that silently blocks many people from accessing the real power of the law of attraction. The gap between what they say and what they actually feel. You can repeat affirmations about abundance. Every morning, you can fill your bathroom mirror with sticky notes that say, "I am prosperous." You can even fall asleep listening to recordings telling you that you are worthy, loved, and enough. But if deep down there's a quiet fear whispering, "This won't happen for me," that's the signal your reality responds to. The law of attraction doesn't pick up what's on the surface, so it picks up what's vibrating underground. Most people live in this vibrational split. They desire with the mind, but fear with the heart. They believe they're ready to receive, but within them still live old memories of rejection, scarcity, and disappointment. The universe feels this incoherence and reads it as a confused command, and confused commands can only bring confused outcomes. That's why so many people say, the law of attraction doesn't work, but it's working, it always is. It's just reflecting who you are being, not what you are saying. And here lies one of the most overlooked truths about manifestation. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. If deep within you still lives a pattern of scarcity, the universe will continue to reflect it through lack, frustration, repeated cycles. Even if your mouth says, "I want prosperity," if your vibration says, "I don't deserve it," that's what gets amplified, because the law of attraction isn't triggered by words. It's triggered by frequency, and frequency is emotional presence. It's who you are when no one is watching. It's your background state. That feeling that lingers when all distractions are gone. That's what vibrates constantly. And that's what collapses your reality. So the path is not about wanting harder. It's about becoming more aligned, more honest, more aware of what's vibrating in silence. Because the field never lies. It just reflects always. And once you start noticing this dynamic, something inside begins to shift. You start to understand that every complaint, every thought rooted in lack, every inner or outer judgment is a vibrational reinforcement, and vibrational reinforcement is a signal to the field. Complaining isn't just venting. It's a command. It's like calling in twice. The very thing you claim to want gone, the law of attraction is literal in this way. It amplifies what is being felt, not what is being denied in words. Maybe you grew up in an environment where complaining was normal, where life always felt hard, unfair, heavy. And without even realizing it, you learn to tune into that frequency, because our systems are designed to adapt for survival. But what once protected you may now be sabotaging your creation, because to complain is to stay energetically connected to the very cycle you want to break. It's sending out to the universe that this is still your reality, and more than that, a mind conditioned by pain has a hard time believing in ease, even when it tries to practice gratitude. It doubts, it waits for the other shoe to drop. This kind of vibration, subtle but constant, tells the field you're still living in fear. And fear is one of the biggest blocks to the law of attraction, because where there is fear, there is no trust, and where there is no trust, nothing collapses. That's where many people fall into a dangerous loop. They feel like victims of reality. They vibrate as victims, and they attract more and more situations that keep them there. And the more they identify with that frequency, the harder it becomes to escape it, because the victim believes everything is out of their control. But the truth is this: everything is being created from the inside out. You're not being punished. You're being mirrored. The universe isn't trying to test you. It's just reflecting what you emit. And if you start shifting your base vibration, even slightly, the reflection starts to shift too, because the law of attraction responds to real change, not surface intention. And that's when the magic starts to become visible, not as a sudden miracle, but as a restored alignment. A dance between you and the field, where every new step creates a new reality. There's an even deeper root behind this: disconnection from creation. The way we were taught to see God. For many, God is an external being, judgmental, distant, someone watching from afar, deciding through mysterious criteria who gets what. But that idea is noise. It's a distortion of an essential truth, because God, or the creative field, the universal intelligence, isn't out there. It's the source code within. You are not separate from creation. You are creation made manifest. And when you see yourself as separate, you cut the flow. It's like trying to turn on a light without being plugged in. The energy is there ready to flow, but the disconnection blocks the collapse. And without collapse, there is no manifestation. The law of attraction depends on this subtle connection to your origin, your essence, your true self. If within you still lives the belief that you're not worthy, that you must earn, please, or suffer to receive, then you're operating from an outdated code. A code that confuses spirituality with pain, faith with sacrifice, worthiness with guilt. And this code disrupts your vibration. It blocks your access, because the field doesn't respond to stories. It responds to vibrational identity. And when you start to remember that you carry the same creative force that designs galaxies, a new kind of responsibility arises, not the heavy, oppressive kind, the liberating kind, the kind that reminds you that you no longer need to beg for love, abundance, or peace. You can collapse all of it by recognizing who you already are. The law of attraction is the mechanism. Consciousness is the key, and God, this God that pulses through every atom, is not watching you from a distance. God is vibrating with you as you, creating with you through every choice, every thought, every emotion. There is no true separation, only forgetfulness. And that forgetfulness is what keeps true manifestation from happening. But when you remember, when you feel it, everything changes. Because you stop looking outward and you start vibrating inward. And that's exactly when the field responds. Even with all this remembering, there's still a point where many stumble. Desire wanting in itself is not the issue. Desire is the spark of creation. It's the initial impulse behind every manifestation. But when desire is separated from belief, it gets lost in the void. The law of attraction needs more than intention. It requires vibrational coherence. What you want must be supported by what you believe. If you say, "I want abundance," but deep down still carry the feeling that it's not meant for you, the field feels that, and it responds to that lack of alignment. It's like trying to build a bridge with broken wood. The path collapses before it reaches the other side. Silent doubt cancels the conscious command. And this is one of the biggest vibrational leaks. In creation, you can desire a new reality. You can visualize it in detail. You can feel it even for a moment. But if you don't believe it can be yours, it won't be, because quantum reality collapses. Only when the observer believes, and believes with the whole body, with the mind, the heart. The energy, it's a state of being, not just of wanting. The law of attraction responds to those who vibrate, as if they already are, not to those who beg to become. And here lies one of the most powerful secrets. You don't manifest from absence, you manifest from presence. The more you focus on what's missing, the more you vibrate lack. The more you vibrate lack, the more it materializes, because the universe amplifies what you feel, not what you plead for. And if there is one key to shift this, it's in the unification. Unify your desire with your belief. Let your wanting be a reflection of your certainty, not your fear. Only then can reality align with what you project. Only then can the law of attraction work in full power, because the frequency of desire only manifests when it meets within you. The frequency of belief, and when the two become one. The field responds instantly. But who's really in charge of all this? Who decides what you truly vibrate? The answer lies in a place few dare to explore. The unconscious, that's where most of your emotions, reactions and patterns come from. The conscious mind, the one that plans, thinks and affirms, only plays a small part in your vibrational creation. The true signal sender, the one shaping the field, is your unconscious. It holds old memories, forgotten traumas, inherited beliefs. And all of it vibrates even if you're unaware. The law of attraction responds to the most dominant frequency, and most of the time, that frequency doesn't come from your thoughts. It comes from what you carry deep inside silently. Old programming loops. That's why you can change your thinking. But if the vibration underneath remains, your reality stays the same. The quantum field is sensitive to your vibrational essence. It doesn't care about your optimistic speeches, if behind them fear still lives. It senses what you won't admit, and it mirrors that, not to punish, but to respond like a neutral, precise mirror. That's why real transformation takes more than words. It requires awareness of what's hidden. How many times have you repeated the same patterns, the same pains, the same challenges? That's not bad luck, that's programming. Emotional programming from the unconscious, and until that programming is rewritten, your emitted signal stays the same. And the universe keeps reflecting the same outcomes, not because it wants to trap you, but because vibrationally you're telling it, "This is who I am," and here's the most liberating truth. When you change your inner programming, you change your signal, and when the signal changes, the field responds. The law of attraction is exact in that way. It doesn't fail. It simply reflects the dominant vibration, and when that vibration becomes conscious, aligned and real, the universe starts showing you a new reality, not as a favor but as a consequence. And this dominant vibration that lives in the unconscious, it often isn't even yours. It was inherited, absorbed, learned since early on. You were exposed to beliefs about money, success and spirituality. many of which came wrapped in guilt, shame and limitation. Scarcity was taught as virtue. Pain as proof of value, struggle as a badge of morality. And all of it became silent codes, running in the background of your life. The law of attraction hears those codes. And if your field is tuned into scarcity, no matter how much you desire abundance, that old vibration keeps collapsing the same reality. It's like a scratched record looping the same song. You try to change, think differently, but something inside pulls you back, because your field is still being controlled by an outdated script, automatic, repetitive, unconscious. That's why so many people, after years of searching, studying, and practicing, still find themselves blocked. They haven't realized they're carrying unexamined vibrational beliefs. Phrases like money is dirty. People who get rich forget God. Suffering makes you humble. These sayings, often passed down with good intentions, turned into operational codes, and codes vibrate and vibration collapses reality. If part of you still believes that prosperity is wrong, your field will reject it, no matter how many law of attraction techniques you try, because the underlying frequency is still saying, I can't, I shouldn't, I'm not worthy. And unless that changes, the universe will keep saying yes to your vibration. But everything can shift when you realize that prospering doesn't betray your essence. It honors it when you understand that abundance is a natural reflection of someone who has reconnected with their true self. Scarcity is a distortion, a loop. An old code and loops can be broken. Codes can be rewritten. When you choose to vibrate differently, the field responds differently. The law of attraction is just waiting for your permission, and that begins now. This moment, this exact instant where you breathe, feel, listen. This is the turning point. The only place where creation actually happens. The law of attraction doesn't operate in the past, because the past is gone. It doesn't manifest in the future, because the future hasn't arrived. It reveals itself in the now, in the moment you choose to vibrate consciously, and right here in this second. Everything can be rewritten. The issue is that most people live outside the now, trapped in old traumas, or anxiously trying to control tomorrow. But every time you cling to what's behind, your vibration anchors in pain. Holding on to resentment is a vibrational request to keep the wound alive. Anxiety is a signal that you don't trust. And without trust, there's no surrender. And without surrender, manifestation can't align. The field only responds to presence, to the full vibration of the now. When you are truly present, your energy focuses, aligns, amplifies. It's like a beam of light passing through a focused lens. In that state, reality collapses quickly, because your mind is no longer scattered between yesterday and someday. It is whole, and when you are whole, you vibrate with power. And the law of attraction answers to vibrational power. Maybe you've never stopped to fully feel the now, not as a pause between tasks, but as the center of creation. Here there's no distraction. Here there is no fear of what's to come, no guilt over what is past. Here there is presence, and presence is power. It's the exact point where the universe meets you, and where everything can in truth transform. When you anchor your awareness in the now, you access a frequency that transcends time. You step into the field where all possibilities exist. And only here can you consciously choose which one you wish to collapse, because in the now, everything is available and everything is possible. The law of attraction is waiting for you here. Always here, never far. Never later, always now. And if everything is available now, who do you choose to be in this moment? Because that's the question the universe is always asking silently. Without words, without judgment. Every second you send an answer, and that answer shapes what you experience. You are constantly a field of possibilities. In collapse, there's no fixed state. No unchanging identity, you are movement choice. Vibration and motion. Every thought activates a version of yourself. Every feeling collapses a possibility into reality. Thinking isn't just reflecting. It's creating. Feeling isn't just reacting. It's emitting, and this process never stops. It's continuous. The law of attraction is always responding, moment by moment, to the version of you that you are choosing to be. Even without realizing it, you are creating always. So what are you choosing to think now? Who are you deciding to believe you are? Because that choice, small, invisible, quiet, holds immense power. It defines which line of reality you will walk, not as destiny but as vibrational response. The universe doesn't reward or punish. It simply offers paths and responds to the one you're vibrating. And here's the most extraordinary part. Once you activate a new version of yourself, that version begins to vibrate differently. And when the vibration shifts, reality shifts with it. There's no turning back. Not because the field forces it, but because the old frequency no longer has space to exist. It's like changing the radio station. What was playing before simply isn't accessible anymore. That's the moment where transformation becomes irreversible, where collapse is final. Because it's no longer about trying, wishing, or visualizing, it's about being. Vibrating as someone who already is walking, as someone who has already received living, as someone who finally understood. And in that state, the law of attraction can't help but respond, because it simply mirrors your most intimate decision, who you choose to be right now. Take a deep breath. Feel everything that's been said so far. You know it's somewhere deep inside you've always known. You just needed to remember. The law of attraction isn't a distant secret, nor a mystery reserved for a chosen few. It's a part of who you are. It's already working right now. As you hear these words and feel what they stir within you, it doesn't need to be activated. It already is. The question was never whether it works, but whether you are working with it. And if there was still any doubt about what's been blocking your manifestations, maybe now it's clear. It wasn't lack of effort or lack of worth. It was lack of alignment, lack of presence, lack of awareness about the signal you're truly emitting. But now you know, now you feel. And when your feeling aligns with your knowing, change becomes inevitable. So if you haven't yet left your comment, now is the time, right? I'm ready to understand what no one ever told me. Not as a symbolic gesture, but as a vibrational affirmation, as a quiet signal to the field that you are here, present, awakened, conscious. And if this message resonated with you in any way, feel free to follow the channel, not because you have to, but because you found something that feels like home, something that speaks to a part of you that's always been waiting to be seen. Here, truth isn't shouted, it's felt. It's remembered here. You reconnect with your essence, with your creation, with the field that responds to you, because from now on, you are not the same. You've activated something. And when your vibration changes, everything changes. The law of attraction is already in motion. And now there's no going back.